Hey, what's up everyone? It's Kevin Flapp here. Today is April 2nd, 2011, and I couldn't be more happy. You may be asking, Kevin, why are you so happy? That's easy. I'm happy because it's not March anymore. Now don't get me wrong, I love March and all its March madness, but poker to me in March was terrible. I did my worst impersonation ever of Charlie Sheen. I just lost, and lost. Check out the graph. I started at 510, dropped to 3.6, dropped to 2.4, dropped to 1.2, dropped to 50-cent dollar. I just couldn't beat anything. I went from 24 tables to 20 tables to 18 to 16 to 12, 10, 9, 8, 6, 4, 2. I even won table to get the maximum toughness. It just didn't work. It may sound like I was being pretty responsible, but the truth is I played too many tables for too long. The only reason I dropped down tables is because my bankroll made me. There's only one person that comes to mind that can 24 table and get better, Nanonoku. Unfortunately, I'm not Nanonoku. I don't have the same skills as Nanonoku, and trying to use his plan left my bankroll very small and me very sad. I was too stuck on my Supernova Elite pursuit that I was afraid to drop down to 2 or 4 tables in fear that I wouldn't be getting enough points. The truth is, dropping to 2 or 4 tables really wouldn't have hurt my chances of getting Supernova Elite. It actually could have helped me a lot. Instead of 24 tabling and dropping stakes as I had to, if I would have just dropped tables initially, as things started to go better, I could have just started to add those tables back. Playing 2 or 4 tables would have also allowed me to practice awesome game selection. After reflecting more on this downswing, I can't help but to think of all the advice I've gotten from my friends in the poker world. It was mostly along the lines of, is going for Supernova Elite the best decision for you? Will it make you the most happy? Will it make you the most money? What is it really going to do for you? I'm nervous I was potentially blinded from my goals of getting lots of volume and put aside my major goals of becoming a better poker player and winning a bracelet and doing things like that. Poker is my livelihood, and it's important for me to stay ahead of the curve. It's very important to not let your short-term goals get in the way of your long-term goals. Lots of my friends and me indirectly talk about this concept a lot, and it's something I wanted to put into words, and I'm going to use examples from my own life to share this with you. So I'm going to have 3 stages of goals. Each goal is going to have a long-term and a short-term goal. I like to constantly monitor my progress, and I always write down all my goals. The short-term goal will usually be something that puts me in the spot to achieve my long-term goal. So for instance, my long-term goal in life of being happy. I decided in the short term to use poker to acquire the things I need to be happy. I need money to live, so that's where that comes from. So on the next level on my long-term goal, I want to be a tough poker player, I want a World Series of Poker bracelet, I want to be financially secure, and I want lots of extra money to do really fun things. So I decided in the short term, getting Supernova Elite this year would be a good idea to put me in line to get my long-term goals. So then on the shortest term level, we have the long-term get Supernova Elite, and my short-term would be get 5,000 points a day. So what happened during my downswing, I was too blinded by that get the 5,000 points a day that I didn't realize that I would put myself in a spot where in the future I was less likely to get those points. I think I was blinded by my shortest goal of getting 5,000 points a day. I didn't take a second to step back and really analyze the situation and think, what's the best thing for me to do? You actually have to ask yourself, what gives me the best chance to do X, Y, and Z, and how am I going to do it? And if you need help deciding on which thing to do, break it down into positive and negatives of both things. As a quick example that won't cover everything is comparing something like 4 tabling 5-10 no limit versus 24 tabling 1-2 no limit. So first off, if you're 4 tabling 5-10 no limit, chances are you're going to become a better poker player. That's a very huge positive. 4 tabling this game will also allow me to use good game selection. It will allow me to have very good reads on all the players and thus have a very high win rate if I'm a good poker player. Also, the rewards will be higher. Your better reads and your time spent on game selecting and all that will pay off with bigger dividends. Just a few of the negatives of 4 tabling 5-10 that come to mind are you need a big bankroll for that. The competition is generally going to be very tough, and the swings are bigger. So then you would go to 1-2, and you say, what are the positives for playing 1-2 and 24 tabling? First off, you'll get in tons of hands. To become a better poker player, you have to get experience. So, assuming you take some time to go back over hands after you've played them, playing that many tables will pay off. Another positive for 24 tabling 1-2 is that the pots are smaller, so you're less stressed about that. So if mass tabling doesn't stress you out, then you'll be less stressed about the swings at the lower stakes. Another thing about 1-2, the average pro in 1-2 is not going to be as tough as 5-10, and also the fish are going to be worse. They're going to lose more money per hand, making it easier to win, because in poker, you make money when your opponents make mistakes. Some of the negatives, which I think are very important to look at in 24 tabling 1-2, is that you probably won't become a better poker player that fast. Playing that many tables, you're going to develop leaks that you might not recognize, you're going to play down to your competition, and also the rewards are less, so you'll be less inclined to put in a lot of thought in each decision. You can use this method in making any decision in life. Just weigh the positives and the negatives. Alright, so let's pull this back to the Supernova Elite pursuit. One of the reasons I started to go for Supernova Elite is because I wanted to minimize my variance. Going for Supernova Elite would give me lots of bonus money, plus I'd be making money as a poker player. But if I'm not making money as a poker player, I'm not going to go for Supernova Elite. When I first started going on my downswing, I should have been a lot faster to drop tables. I should have dropped limits sooner, and I also should have got coaching right when my downswing started. This would have got me back in my groove much faster. Instead, I pushed my bankroll to the highest limits it could afford, playing as many tables as I could. This has made my pursuit of Supernova Elite that much tougher. I'm not saying that I'm not going to do it, it's just saying the chances are a lot less likely. 24 tabling mid-stakes poker as a break-even player with leaks is not a good strategy for me to go into the World Series and have a good chance of winning a bracelet. I also didn't want to go into the series frustrated. When you become frustrated, it's a lot easier to become burnt out on poker. It's very important for me not to get burnt out in poker in this time because I need to be ready to play my A game all summer long. Last year I came close to winning a bracelet in the PLO event and took second. Since then, I haven't spent too much time playing PLO, but I've decided to go back and spend some time on the game. I decided to further increase my skills in PLO to hopefully give me a higher ROI this summer in all the PLO events, which will also give me a better chance of winning a bracelet this summer. Since I showed you how I like to weigh my decisions, I decided to share with you what I thought some of the positives and negatives of switching to PLO were. For me, the breakdown would be something like this. Learning a new game is good for your brain and good for your poker brain. I'm going to continually challenge myself and play few tables so I can always learn and analyze every hand I play. Some of the PLO positives is that the average competition at PLO is still relatively weak. The fish are way bad, and it's awesome to play with someone that still can play 96% of their hands, and they are going to lose their money really fast, but it's obvious that they're a losing player in the game. The big positive that I've already talked about is being able to play PLO events this summer and feel more comfortable. In PLO, you also accumulate VPPs pretty fast, so that'll be nice. Some of the negatives with PLO is that I still make dumb mistakes. I've spent a lot of time in No Limit, and I'd like to think I don't make terrible mistakes all that often, but in PLO, I still make some of those what was I thinking mistakes where it's just like, I need to get over that. One of the negatives is all the time I've spent in No Limit, it almost feels like it's going to waste if I switch to a new game. But that's a bad way to look at it because I can always go back to this game and switch between them, and it's a good way to keep poker fresh. One of the negatives is that I knew the competition very well in No Limit. I played on this site for the past year and a half, and I've put in a lot of hands in the same stakes, so a lot of the tough competition I know. So when someone's unknown at the tables, I usually had a good read that they were not that good. Some of the PLO negatives, it's also harder to play lots of tables of PLO, which kind of makes it a negative in my eyes, but that's partly negated by the fact that you get a lot more VPPs playing PLO than No Limit. I'm really going to dedicate myself to PLO. And my goal is to just turn around my PLO negatives and turn them into positives and get ahead of the curve. Recently I've been talking to Jose, the Portuguese prodigy, and I'm really going to take some of his advice that he has about just learning from people and just having really set questions to ask people going into it. So I'm going to save all my interesting PLO questions to ask all my very smart poker friends this summer. Hopefully I can come away with some very good PLO knowledge. Hope you liked this video. I'll do another one at the beginning of next month to let you guys know how it's going. Here's my graph for the year. As you can see, I'm building a nice little picture of a mountain. I've played 405,000 hands, 237,000 VPPs with a measly profit of $6,000. I'm very disappointed in that. I have got a lot of bonus money, but I want to be a good winning player and I want to be respected, so that's where I'm at right now. Hopefully this next month goes good. If you guys have any constructive criticism, leave it in the comments. If you liked the video, hit like, and have a nice day.